Hi, everybody. This is Nate, and welcome to this new show. It is called Meet the Psychic Press, and this is a brand new type of show. This is a very unusual collaboration. This is with people from the channel. Actually, all three of them that we have today are members and volunteered to ask me questions, psychic questions in this type of Meet the Press format, except that it is Meet the Psychic Press. And so I am very delighted to do this because for me, this type of show allows me to bring you, the audience who are watching at home, into the show, something that I believe has not already been done before. And it's a little bit different. And I really want to, if you find it interesting to continue this format and have more of you join the show on a regular basis. So you each have an opportunity to ask me question and also to experience what it is to be in a show like this. So today we have Brenda, Debbie, and Andrew, and I will give them a few minutes just to introduce themselves to the audience that we have today. So, Brenda, do you want to start?
Yes, I'm Brenda. I'm from the US. I live in Tennessee, a red state. Uh, it is gradually turning as more people are moving here. And today I'm manifesting our Psychic Press Award.
Yes.
And I just like being around spirituality. And I found this on YouTube with the psychics that are on there. So that's everything about me.
Thanks for being here today, Brenda, and welcome, Debbie.
Hi. Yes, I'm known as Deborah Ann, but please call me Debbie. It's much easier that way. Um, I am from Canada, the province of Quebec. Uh, I am also German, so I speak some French, but just a little bit. Yes, how I got to your station, I was actually on Linda's station. And then you were on, and I said, okay, let's try this. And yeah, I said, wow, you're really good. And I've been following the politics, US, Canada, and wow, it's pretty draining. And yeah, I'll see how it goes today. Hopefully, everything will go fine.
Thank you so much for being here, Debbie. And of course, last but not least, Andrew.
Deborah, I was going to ask you about the Deborah thing because my sister's name is Deborah, so it's going to be hard for me to say Debbie. So thank you for clarifying.
No
My name is
problem.
Andrew my name is Andrew D'Angelo. I am a Grammy-nominated saxophonist. I am living in Berlin right now, and I have brain cancer, and I am in the middle of chemo right now as we are speaking.
Oh,
And I just went through 2 months of radiation and had my third brain surgery in January this year, 2025. So I'm in a very interesting place, and I would like to bring in maybe, Nate, maybe this is a way. I mean, by the way, the cancer thing, as you can see, if I'm in the middle of chemo, I mean, I think I'm doing great. I'm old, but yeah, I can't really do anything about that. But it's like
no, you're looking good.
my thing. Thank you, but my thing is maybe there's a way that we can navigate our political situation like more like a jazz improviser, or maybe like when you're going through issues,
Mm.
maybe there's a way to get on the other side of the negativity. Maybe there is. I think there is, personally.
Andrew,
So
thank you so much.
thank you for having me, Nate. It's been, believe it or not, a wonderful dream of mine to be on your show. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You manifested it. You just manifested it, and it's very inspirational to have you here. So
So
I
begging at your doorstep is manifesting.
and I hope with the viewers on the show today, we'll all be sending you a lot of healing vibes. So I am
Thank
certain
you.
it will help.
Thank
All
you.
right, we are going to be get started, and basically, in this Meet the Press format, you'll each have 15 minutes to ask me questions, and I have not seen the questions in advance, so it is completely live. Brenda, you will be starting, which I believe topics around the U.S. politics, And this is
Yes.
now the floor is yours.
Okay, so my first question is if Trump leaves office due to illness, are the oligarchs still going to be in charge? They seem to be paying off, or could be possibly paying off um, government officials, the Supreme Court perhaps, TV stations, and so on. So if they are, if Trump goes out of office, it is because of their money and they're changing, our government, like our TV stations, is that going to change? Like, in other words, if Trump goes out to illness, uh, is it going to stay the same with their money, or will it sort of change?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you have heard me through different episodes that I always said the same thing, that I feel that Trump will do his full term unless he has a health issue, and I feel like he will, and that health issue will prevent him to really do the full term. Now, I also feel that with him being away, removed, whatever we want to call it, it doesn't resolve 100% of our problems because we still have an oligarchy, we still have controls of the media, we still have a number of problems, but I see it creating enough of a chaos in itself, that it will, generate enough problems in the conservative Republican side that it will pause, interrupt, slow down the progress there. Also, keep in mind that as difficult as this current situation is, and we're all feeling the price one way or another from this administration, wherever we are in the world, it allows everyone to see for themselves how bad, how difficult, how impacted everyone gonna be, and everyone is being impacted. If you buy something, you're impacted because it impacts tariffs and economy.
I
So
mean, it's totally affecting Berlin, that's for sure.
the whole world. And
Yeah.
so I get the sense that there will be a disruption. It doesn't solve, it's not a magical day, then all of a sudden everything changes. But I still see, the house being blue at the midterms. And so I know that there will be already more checks and balances around that time. So the answer is yes, there's still going to be challenges, but it will release the pressure.
Okay, good. Did you want me to go ahead and ask my second
Yep.
question?
Yes.
So J.D. Vance has been quoted as saying that if he was Pence, he would not have certified the election, the last election, if he was Pence. So that doesn't look very good. Right now they're redistricting, but a lot of people are upset with Trump. So even though they think Republicans and redistricting will change it, maybe it won't. But when it comes down to when they go to recertify on that day, when they count all the votes from all the different states, will he try to pull that off where he won't certify the votes from the states if whoever okay, so that wouldn't even apply to the redistricting that we have for the midterms. So sorry, wrong question.
Well, we can definitely talk about the redistricting. I feel that there will be at the end, I feel like it's a question that won't matter because the house will turn blue no matter what. I feel like there will be a push towards the redistricting, but I've always said that I see a block through the court or something that will not really bring the 5 seats, for example, from Texas to um, to be uh, uh, to be created, or even let's assume if they were created or maybe potentially stopped by a certain court, that doesn't necessarily mean that they would be Republican either. So
Right.
what I foresee when I tune into it is that I don't think it will make a difference. And I feel that it won't stop the house to turn blue. Now, you were asking about Vance if he truly, if he was in a position to certify the election. I don't get the sense that necessarily he wouldn't have certified the election. I think he said that, but I feel like he would have felt the pressure and he would have certified it.
Okay, all right. And if the Democrats win the midterms or even the next election, do you see the electronical college being eliminated or done away with
I
in
feel
our?
yep, I feel like the Electoral College will be um, ending, but I don't see that soon. I feel that it will be, I see many years. But what I also said and feel is that, once, we get, a democratic how Congress, when we get a democratic president, which I know we will after this Trump presidency or GOP presidency, I feel like there will be a lot of work to revise the Constitution, to work on stopping the different mechanisms that allowed us to have Trump. For example, the main one is like a felon shouldn't be able to run for office, that sort of thing. The Electoral College is also part of this, where it's being seen more and more antiquated, and so there's going to be kind of a wave of kind of a measures to change and to have a better foundation for our government.
Exactly. Thank you. Um, the new show or the new series or new season of South Park has been going after the Trump administration. And Caroline Levitt, who has just, they've criticized her clothes. And so she has recently changed her look at the press conferences. And they also, there was a couple other that it seems to bother them that this cart more than, the regular people criticizing them. So as this season goes on, is it going to gain momentum with the public and also cause some faltering in the administration?
Okay, let's have a look. I have to pull some cards on it. So what will be the impact of the the South Park series on the Trump administration?
Yeah,
Will it bother them?
or change them.
Yeah. The first card is the Five of Swords. So there's a battle, almost like I feel like it will turn into um, a fight, even. The King of Pentacles, that's Trump with his money sitting on the throne. He feels like he's being directly attacked by this. Um, I feel, I see the Queen of Cups here. A lot of emotions are coming into this. And let's see, he's gonna try to the Hierophant is gonna try to protect almost like I feel like there will be a fight, but I feel like he's not gonna lead the fight himself. Is gonna have people in, like it's Caroline, for example, or people in his administration fight it. I see this fight, but it's almost like he's trying to stay above the fray. He doesn't want to get into the arena with a direct fight with them. I feel like he realized like he can't win. The more he attacks them, the more he would be attacked. So he's
Yeah.
gonna kind of fight it, but at a lower level. Yeah.
And also, as the series goes on, I think it'll make the public stronger too, or have
Yes.
positive impact on the
Like
public.
yes.
Could I,
Yeah.
could I,
Yeah.
could I interject something there?
Yeah.
The first thing I saw when they quote unquote canceled Colbert's show, and then Trey and Matt came out with that episode,
Yeah.
I was like, I think somebody finally figured out what to do with this reality TV show host. You got to beat him in the media.
Mm.
And unfortunately, the Democrats or the left or whatever you want to call liberals are not getting it done. I think Stevens, this is going to be his big retirement, is getting Trump over with. And Trey and Matt are just going to be like going to have to stop doing the show at some point or sell it. This is a great ending if they actually take Trump down with his own medicine. Is that the right
Yes,
word? But
yes.
his own way of interacting with the world is going to come. That's why he's not down in the trenches, as you said, Nate. Nate is because he knows he's not going to win down there. He can't. Not with those. Not with
No,
South Park is like the hugest show on the right. I mean, he's not going to win. He's
exactly.
not gonna.
And that's exactly what I feel like. He's not dumb. He knows that he could be played at his own game with those people, and I think he's gonna have to try to fight it via other means.
Right.
Um, Brenda, I think maybe one or two questions, depending. Yep.
So thank you. So I feel like we're fighting such evil with this administration. And is there, I don't know if this is a good, is there like a collective group affirmation that as a group that we could hold up that would help in this type of situation?
Like, what can we do spiritually to help each other?
Well, as a group, if we hold this affirmation, isn't, because I feel like it's good and evil. So to
Yes,
make
yes.
us stronger.
I think we need, I mean, spiritually and in terms of affirmations or prayers or visualization, I feel like we always need to come from a place of good. I know that, for example, we want, like we talk about his health because Trump's health would give us a sense that it might stay longer or not, depending on how he's doing. But ultimately, this is his life, his karmic destiny, his karma, and I don't believe in wishing someone's bad or
Right.
bad health or anything. This is just not how you fight it. What you fight it is as a collective, but also, personally, when I want, I would not go after anyone, but I would ask justice or pray to justice to do what's right. That's the better way to deal with a situation. And so here, I think as we pray, as we make affirmations, we want primarily people to see the truth, to have the clarity for the situation, and it's happening, you know. And we want to stay united, to help each other. You attack one category of people, you attack everyone. It is just the way, whether it's women, LGBT, any kind, it's really the law of one. Now, I something that I've said multiple times on my show that I really believe is that for the MAGA group, you know, we to be in a position to win the next elections, we don't need all of them to see clear. Look at how close this is. 5-10% is enough. 5-10% of people switching, and you have already people switching from Republican to Democrat or voting more Democrat, is enough to create a shift. So we don't have to it's not like a huge mountain to climb. It is enough for people to start moving the other direction, and that to me is a message of hope, because it's not, sometimes we feel, well, how all of MAGA are going to see clear, where we don't need all of MAGA. And frankly, some of them will not,
Right.
but there's going to be enough who will. And that's really what I want to say here. And they will. That's what I see when I look psychically further. There will be enough. There will be more than 5-10%. There will be. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah,
So now
Yes.
Nate, maybe what you were saying there is very important. Like, if you're going to do work, whatever that means to you, as you were saying, Brenda, what do we do? Whatever work you're going to do, don't try to get everybody over. I think that's a really good point, because I think some people are like, oh my goodness, how am I going to change this? Because you're trying to bring every freaking person over to the other side of the field. You just think you're not going to get it done. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And it's like, it's also kind of a snowball effect. 5-10% will lead to 15-20%. It's just gonna come. Well, thank you, Brenda, for your questions. And then I welcome Debbie for your own questions.
Yes. Hi. As you know, with the tariffs that we are facing, Canada is trying to build a new relationships with other countries, and especially Prime Minister Carney met up with Mexico president. It went well, but it didn't go well enough to secure a deal. Will anything happen
Okay.
between Mexico and Canada?
Yep. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Okay. The first card is the Eight of Cups. It feels like, to what you were saying, like that first attempt really didn't lead to an agreement, and it kind of went separate ways with a disappointment. And then I get the moon. The moon tells me that things are happening in the background, in the shadows. Okay, so they're gonna keep working about a deal agreement kind of in the background, not necessarily that the general public will know. My final outcome is the Ten of Cups, people handing together and the big rainbow here, which tells me like, yes, there will be an agreement, okay, between Mexico and Canada, and that feels like a positive agreement. But the message here is I feel like it's going to be worked through behind the scenes, so to speak. Okay, so it's not going to be those like big meetings that are in the press. I feel like there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Yes, and actually, frankly, the best way to get it done is that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would actually feel that they're already working on something.
Right.
Good.
You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen.
Now, for my next questions, we are having a lot of wildfires in Canada and in the US.
Yes.
And for us, it is the second worst fire in Canada. And I did not know this, but we are getting help from outside of Canada. There are 1,400 international firefighters to come and help us. And that's including Chile, Costa Rica, and Mexico. I just would like to know, because it's draining for the firefighter. It's exhausting for them to try to contain it. And I'd like to know if it can be contained on both sides, Canada and the US. That's what I would like to know.
And we had very, very bad fires in Europe as well.
Yep.
Before I get into your question, I will read on that, but we have what I feel right now, as we are early August, a very strong fire energy in terms of weather. And then we're going to switch to water energy. And so right now it's the fires. It's going to switch into floods and also hurricanes. And so as strong as the fire's been, I see the water element coming through later in the year. We're at that almost like at the point where it's going to shift. So let's see specifically for the fires in Canada, will they be able to fix them, to bring them to the fires in Canada? Yes, I feel like they will, but this is going to be a very difficult task. First card, look at the tower with that fire energy on top.
Oh
So
my.
what we're feeling right now. Resources will be provided. Two of Pentacles, juggling. This is the juggling element, throwing resources. To me, this is like attacking a fire on one end, then you have the other side is that juggling element. The Page of Sword is the firefighters fighting it. The final card is the Three of Wands, where you cannot get this done at the distance, so you can actually kind of feel that it's resolved. Ace of Cups, the water element, water to deal with this fire. I don't see this being quick to fix, based on what I see here. It feels like it's a real battle, and it's gonna be, I don't feel like this is gonna be an easy fix. I see this going, I would say at least a couple more weeks of this fire energy. And then you see this Ace of Cups were turning into the water energy. So I'm sorry, but I do not feel like this is going to be an easy fix.
Yeah.
So basically, my next question, it's will the Prime Minister Carney will do something for the climate change?
Mhm.
This is a real big concern.
It is. Oh, a card flew. And this is the card, of the Fool. The Fool is that it's before you take action. It's almost like the realization point. And also I would say that he feels a little lonely in this task because obviously Trump has completely derailed everything regarding
Yeah.
climate change, all the policies on the energy. And so I feel that Carney, I will pull another card. Carney, justice. Carney wants to do this, but he feels like he cannot do it alone. Climate change it's like working. Think about it. The image that I see, it's like you're in an airplane and you have a situation in the airplane, and the front of the airplane and the back of the airplane are not working together, but it's impacting the whole airplane. So there's no point doing it
Yeah.
partial work on climate
Right.
change. It has to be.
Mhm.
And I feel that Carney wants to do something, but he feels lonely. He's going to look for partner, Two of Cups. He's going to look for partners, probably in Europe, probably in other parts of the world. But I feel very strong that the Trump administration will not only not participate, but actually do the opposite, create more trouble when it comes to climate change with, energies that are not climate friendly. The obvious one was the removal from the Paris Accord, etc. So yes,
Right.
Carney will do something. I think this is important for him, but he feels a bit
Okay.
lonely.
Okay. All right. I just found this out the day before. Excuse me for the noise. My birds just they want to come out of their cage. Yeah, I was looking in regards to the paramedics in in Canada, and they have a high rate of suicide. Four have lost their lives to suicide just the beginning of this year, and they do have help, but not enough help. Will there be some sort of help for these paramedics or for anybody in Canada that they need mental health help, no matter who you are, that we have easy access for this?
Yeah. The first thing that I got when you talked about it is that they feel helpless. I feel like it has not been realized, and I feel this is in Canada, but around the world, that frankly, the type of issues they face as paramedics is significantly harder than what the people were facing before, because there's much more stress, there's much more instability. The world is not as stable now that it was, and it impacting people, their mental health.
Exactly.
Also, frankly, generally as a society, we have not really recovered mentally from COVID. You know,
Right.
there's still a lot of that going on, but
Yeah.
I feel like they're seven of wands. They're struggling. They're fighting. They need help for mental health. I feel like resources will be given and it will be successful. It is sad that it is showing through suicides, but I'm seeing
Yeah. Yeah.
more resources will be for them.
Good.
Yes.
Good. 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 I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm going to give you my last question.
Yes.
This bothers me. It is two children. I believe it happened the beginning of May. It's two children that disappeared in Nova Scotia, 4 years old and 6 years old. They disappeared and nobody could find them. I would like to know what has happened to these two children.
I don't really feel like it is an accident. I feel like something happened where they were taken away or kidnapped or something of that nature.
That's what they were saying. They were taken away. That's what the parents were saying.
I
But
don't
there's
see an
nothing to be
accident.
found.
No, I feel like they were taken away. Um, it's up purely from people that were up to no good, basically. I feel like they were taking hostages or they were taken away, but I don't get the sense like they were asked a ransom or to pay something. I think it's just like they were kidnapped. Um, and I'm not
My
seeing,
God.
yes, and I'm not seeing, I don't think we're gonna hear, there's nothing here that shows something happening in the near future that would give us some news. So I'm seeing still a lot of silence around this issue, but I don't see an accident. No, I feel like this is a human intervention.
Mm, mm. Yeah, they're 4 and 6 years old. 4 and 6 years
Yeah,
old. The poor babies. Oh my goodness.
yeah. It's a,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank you, Nate. I
David. Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
And now we're moving to Andrew with your question.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I don't know if I said it early on, but I am living in Berlin at the moment. Do you want political or spiritual first, Nate?
Let's start with political and we'll end with more uplifting questions.
Okay, okay. Um, it looks like Ukraine is using more and more what they call asymmetric warfare. Anybody, are you guys familiar with that term? I was not, so I looked it up a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, if you don't mind explaining a little bit what that means.
Asymmetric just means like non-traditional. Like we think of what warfare? Tanks, boom, 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 planes flying over, dropping bombs, like this kind of stuff. Well, this is all like basically kids with 3D printers making bombs and gun handles and guns. I mean, they can actually 3D print an entire weapon. And these consumer level drones, like you get, I guess, in the States at Kmart or something like that, right? And then like modifying them so they can be kamikaze drones and they can just fly them into the target. Bob's your uncle, it's over.
Yeah.
And when I had heard the news that Russia had invaded Ukraine, when I put on the news, they were basically doing that kind of warfare. I mean, they were blowing up buildings, there were tanks rolling around, there were troops with their guns. But I was like, wait, where are the laser beams and like sonic weapons and right? And genetic viruses, like modern warfare, interrupting internet, taking down infrastructure, just collapsing the economy. I was like, well, maybe they are doing that. But do you see, my big question was, do you see this type of asymmetric warfare being these types of consumer level, readily available, very cheap technology that 18-year-old kids can work on in school and build? Do you see them becoming more and more a part of the future of what we call warfare on Earth?
Well, I do believe that yes, this is a type of a warfare that's been growing over time, but I also feel that there's been actually quite a few military attacks on logistics equipment, bridges, power nuclear plants, and there have been a fair amount of attacks that are like cyber attacks as well. I feel like cyber attack is one of the biggest thing that I see in the future, shutting down a hospital, shutting down a city, shutting down, and we know that there's been a lot of cyber activity and disinformation. One thing that Russia has done is using the power of social media to brings a lot of false
Right,
information, fake news. This is a big weapon as well.
right.
And that I see that being used in addition to what you mentioned with the 3D, with the cyber. I feel like more and more we're gonna go towards more digital warfare.
God,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was in the hospital, sorry, did I interrupt, Deborah? Somebody want to talk or, but when I was in the hospital, this one nurse said to me, I said, what would happen if all these computers just went down, like right now? She goes, oh, we would be crippled.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, the medication layout, blah, 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 operations, like actual operations and admin operations. She goes, we would be absolutely paralyzed until it was fixed. And she goes, nobody knows would know how to fix it here. We'd have to find, anyway, you're right. I mean, I think I was just surprised they weren't using it. Why blow up the hospital? Why not just really do it? I don't know.
And it
Seems
has
like,
happened, like I'm aware
right,
that there are, and I see that in the future. I've actually seen, not related necessarily to Russia, I don't know where this is coming from, but in the US, some, you know, at cyber attacks that would paralyze certain parts of the economy. Yes,
right.
yes.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's anything to do about it. It was just, I guess it was more of a curiosity question
Where
because
anything to do for our own level, I always, because of our, I felt like we're all, to a certain degree, can be a target of a cyber attack. I mean, I've experienced no
right,
electricity for like a day or two this late spring, early summer, and so having always like a little bit of cash, a little bit of supplies, this is something that I really recommend people to have, and batteries and all of that. That I think we are all should be prepared just in case. And it also ties to your question, the earlier question, climate change. The world is more challenging now than it was, and we need to have backups and prepared.
right. And not necessarily out of fear, but just out of literally like when you go out and it's snowing, you prepare.
You
It's
prepare.
like
It's
this.
just prepare.
You
Yeah.
don't panic and start
No.
buying crazy shit and like, stuffing your cupboards. You're just like, all right, it's going to snow tomorrow. It's going to be freaking cold and wet. How do I get ready for that kind of thing?
Exactly. Exactly.
Which brings me to, I'm going to go more spiritual and esoteric and hopefully positive. And my mind is positive,
Yeah.
which is many of people in your audience would probably be able to say at some point they heard somebody say that we all come into this physical life with a soul contract, sort of an agreement. And maybe with some people say it's one exit point in the contract. Some people say there's options. There's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 points of exiting. Brenda, I see you shaking your head yes. So I'm curious if we are in a contract, how does that I'm just going to bring it to me so I don't like make it somebody else's problem. But I mean, I'm dealing with fucking brain cancer. But if it's in my soul contract, then I already asked for this to happen. So instead of fighting cancer or battling cancer, I'm working with it. I'm cooperating. Maybe it's more like mountain climbing that you brought up earlier, Nate. Maybe it's more like it is hard work, but I'm just not fighting the climb. I'm just like, all right. I mean, I'm literally sitting here 6 months into like major brain cancer treatment. And how many stories have you heard of people being nauseous? And has anybody had cancer in the room? So I don't want to like talk down to anybody. Yeah, but you've heard stories, right? People nauseated and vomiting and can't get out of bed, and right. And again, I can't talk about looks, but you hear stories, and I just feel so blessed. But part of it is, you know what? Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're battling cancer." I'm not battling it. I'm not at war with cancer. It just is what it is. I can't do anything about it. So just might as well try to enjoy the ride. And I'm not saying I always enjoy the ride, but you got me in a good moment. So how does this work geopolitically? Not just in the US, not just in Europe, not just in the Middle East, but all over. We all, on some level then, agreed to be here now, which means we all are capable of handling the moment graciously, or how eloquently, however you want to put it. Is what I'm talking about fair, or I guess is there truth, or is it just a reality that?
So I really believe that we made a decision, our soul made a decision to be here, right?
Right.
That I think is a conscious decision. I feel also we are experiencing very difficult challenges, whether it's personal like you or geopolitically. Our ancestors did too. We're not the only one. I feel that as for a soul contract, I really feel like the main aspect of that is that we have some lessons to learn. And
Okay.
there's different ways to learn a lesson. So, for example, we might have come to this life to learn a lesson in resilience, or to learn a lesson in, letting our ego go, or whatever the lesson might be. I don't think it is necessarily pre-programmed that we're going to face this particular issue at this particular time. But I feel like it is part of our soul contract that one way or another, there's a particular lesson that we are here for, and we're gonna go through this life lesson. And what I've experienced myself working with clients is that these lessons becomes more and more apparent. In other words, like earlier in life, you're facing some challenges, and then you kind of deal with it a certain way. And then if you have not said you've learned a lesson, but you've demonstrated with your actions that you've learned a lesson, then you can move on to the next lesson potentially, or you can move on with your life. But if you have just said, okay, I've learned my lesson, or if you have not demonstrated at all that you've learned the lesson, it's just going to repeat. Another situation will repeat over and over until you really get to the lesson. That's why sometimes if you look into romantic relationship, you have people that feel in patterns that they bring towards them the same type of person because they have a certain lesson to learn, or a certain type of job because there's a certain lesson to learn, or a particular situation in their family and friends that keep repeating themselves because of that same lesson. So it's not the actual situation itself, it's the lesson that comes. And I would actually bring that in the context of a country that many countries go through a process of a certain awakening or a revolution or a moment in time when people wake up. And I feel like with the US, we are at this moment where there's a realization that maybe we've been a little bit too loose with, the government, or how did we let a felon be president? That makes no sense, right?
Right.
And so this is a lesson for the collective. The climate change is a lesson for the collective because it all ties together. The way that the food that we've been eating over processed, the damage that we done to Mother Nature, there's a payback for that. So whether it's
That's right.
the
Yeah.
individual level or at the collective, there's a lesson to learn. And most of the time, we're individuals and we are collective at the same time. And so we're in this kind of situation where a number of countries are in this collective lesson learning, and we also have our own lesson at the same time. Those are challenges, but they are made so that our soul, or the soul, we talk the soul of the nation, gets to the next level for our better, because I mean our life doesn't stop at death. We continue, our soul continues. And so
Darn it.
the lesson that we learn, that we benefit from it as a soul later on, no matter where we are. The physical death is just a milestone within our life. And so we continue to experience and better ourselves throughout, time. So that's like the perspective. And when we get to challenging times, it's basically one of those moments where we learn something, and then it later on we are actually realizing, wow, I didn't realize that me learning this puts me in this better
Sorry.
position. Kind of, I don't want to say a silver lining, but it all, when we will look back, it will all make sense. When we're looking at the present, something, it doesn't make sense. When we look back,
Yeah.
and that's called, when you look at history, you see the chain of events. We're in one of those events, but it will be explainable spiritually. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I don't know about any of you, but when you said when we were younger, the lessons they weren't as readily apparent, right? I think is the way you said it. I was like, when I was younger and had problems, I just called my mom. I don't know about anybody else. Somehow my mom could always solve the problem. So as you were talking, I was thinking, if somebody has that thought, like, oh, I'm in this conundrum, or I'm having this issue, or politics, or what do I do? Maybe ask somebody. Some people say angels and guides, spirit, your soul group, your oversoul effort. Maybe ask, and just ask for a really clear answer, instead of pondering,
Yes.
why am I going through this? Like for me, I had brain cancer in 2008 and it came back. So according to what you've been talking about and what I've been talking about, I didn't learn some kind of lesson, apparently. So I got to go through it again. But what, I don't know. Damn it. But so I thought about it. I was like, I'm just going to ask mom. I mean, she's deceased now, but she's always willing to talk to me about anything.
Well, then that's your main source of
Yeah.
information. Ask your mom. You can still ask your mom as
Yeah.
5 years old.
I know.
Same
I
thing.
know.
That's-
Mom, I did, dude, before she died, I called her. I was like, Mom, what do I do?
Take the blood pressure pills.
Hey,
This is a reminder. Take the blood pressure pills.
is it for you, Debbie?
It's for my husband.
Okay.
It's a reminder to take his pills. And I'm just
Yeah.
looking. If you see me moving around, I'm sorry. I'm just watching him, watching the dog, watching the birds.
Well, you've managed very well. I want to thank you all very, very much for
Thank you.
being here on the show. And I want to thank the audience to for watching this, and you've all three been very brave to come to the recording studio with me, and so I applaud your courage and your candid questions. Thank you so very much, and we will do this.
Thank you so much, Nathe. Take care of yourself, everybody. Thank you. Nice meeting
Nate.
you all.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.